Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tips. Julian here for an episode about injury updates. These are obviously super important. That way you guys know which players are healthy and which are not when you are drafting your teams. Oftentimes, Yahoo will have an injury designation for a player, but they're expected to be ready for game one of the season, so you don't have to be worried about drafting those players. I'm going to be going through all of the injured players and telling you whether they will be ready for game one or not, and if they're not, when exactly they will be ready for it. Before we get into it, guys, drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you guys do want to support this channel even more, there's a join button down below on YouTube, or you can join my Patreon. The link is also in the description below. And then you unlock things like my full draft rankings, being able to DM with me, ask me any fantasy hockey questions you like whenever you need. And also, you get early access videos because I post videos often before they actually go live. So you'll get those videos as soon as I put them on YouTube. Let's jump into the content now, guys. And let's take a look at some injured players. And as you can see here, guys, I did put the teams by alphabetical order. So we're going to be starting with Anaheim and working our way all the way down to Winnipeg players. Now, the first player on the list is Mason McTavish, and he's actually not injured. The reason he's not practicing is because he still has not signed his contract with Anaheim. He's actually practicing in the juniors right now. And if Anaheim doesn't sign him, he's not going to play. He quite literally needs a contract to play. And it doesn't seem like they're anywhere close right now, but obviously things could change very, very fast, and he could be ready for game one. It's just a matter of how quick they get him signed. It's a little bit worrisome drafting McTavish right now because he could end up missing a very good chunk of the season like William Nylander did a few years ago. So you want to be a little bit cautious with Mason McTavish. Maybe draft him a few rounds later than you probably would have liked to draft him. But somebody that I'm definitely being cautious about, unless you see that he does sign and then you're good to go to draft him when you were planning on drafting him. Next is Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, or 6K as I like to call him. And he has a lower body injury. This just in, actually, Luukkonen is practicing today on Thursday when I am recording this video. So it looks like if he is practicing in full, I'm not sure if he's practicing fully, but he's at practice, which is a really good sign. So if that is the case, there actually is a very good chance that he plays in the season opener for Buffalo. They're definitely not going to rush him, though. He is their starting goalie, and they want to make sure he's fully healthy for the year. So if he does miss a few games, that's okay for them. They want to make sure he's fully healthy for this season. Buffalo's hoping to finally make the playoffs. I don't think they will, but they're going to try their damn hardest. The next player I have is K'Andre Miller of the Carolina Hurricanes, and it's really not clear if he's going to be ready. He had off-season surgery and is still wearing a non-contact jersey. The team hasn't indicated that he'll miss any time, but we're going to have to monitor that situation because wearing a non-contact jersey at this point could mean that he might miss some time. Either way, K'Andre Miller doesn't have a whole lot of fantasy value this year, so you're not missing too much in your lineup if you do happen to have him. Then Jaccob Slavin, he's being held out of all preseason games due to some muscle soreness. And it seems like he's going to be fine for the regular season. They just don't want to play him in unnecessary preseason games. They know he's a stud, and he's going to be able to be just fine once the regular season starts. So I'd expect him in game one. Next is Laurent Brossoit, and he missed the entire season last year due to a knee injury, which he did have surgery on. Now, he also underwent surgery on his hip, and he is going to be out long-term once again. Poor guy just cannot catch a break. He should probably return at some point this season, but we said the same thing last year, and he just never did. He was supposed to return like the first couple months, and it just kept progressing and kept progressing. I hope for his sake that he's able to return at some point, but yeah, I'm not keeping my hopes up too high that he will. If he does, he could end up being the backup goalie in Chicago. He's always been a fantastic backup goalie. Next, we have Samuel Girard, and he is out with a lower body injury, but Colorado fully expects him to be ready for game one. Again, he's someone that doesn't have a whole lot of fantasy value. Unless you're in like an ultra deep league, you might take a flyer on him, but even then, really not someone you need on your fantasy team, but he should be good to go. MacKenzie Blackwood is a big one. He's out with a lower body injury, and he is progressing pretty well. He's skating, but Colorado isn't sure if he's going to be ready on opening night, October 7th. My guess is unless there's a massively speedy recovery between now and then, he'll be held out the first couple of games just as a precaution. They're going to want to make sure that this guy is fully healthy going into the year because he is their starter and he's going to be the guy who is going to be able to carry them into the playoffs if they do make the playoffs this year. Next, we have Simon Edvinsson of the Detroit Red Wings, and he sustained a lower body injury and is expected to miss some time. Steve Yzerman said he should be available around the start of the regular season, so if it's not game one, it should be close to it. Again, though, Edvinsson isn't someone that has an overly high amount of fantasy value, so you're not missing too much with him being sidelined. A big name is Zach Hyman, and he underwent wrist surgery at the end of May and isn't expected to be back until November 1st. That's what they're saying right now. By that estimation, he's going to miss the first 12 games of the season and could return at the home game on November 1st against the Chicago Blackhawks. So, expect him to be gone the entire month of October at least. And then we have Matthew Tkachuk, who underwent surgery for a sports hernia and another surgery for a torn adductor. Coach Bill Zito did say that he should be back December-ish. I think he was being a little bit optimistic, though. Most reports that I've seen have said January at the earliest. I'm thinking that he probably won't be back till 2026. He wants to make sure that he's fully healthy for the Olympics. We all know he's super motivated for that. Next, we have Zeev Buium of the Minnesota Wild, and he is dealing with an upper body injury and is being labeled as day-to-day. Because he's being labeled as day-to-day, I'm not overly worried, but it's definitely something to monitor. Next, we have Matt Zuccarello, who was someone I was pretty high on this preseason as someone that could be a late-round draft steal. Unfortunately, he's dealing with an undisclosed injury. GM Bill Guerin said that something has come up with Zuccarello that will force him to miss the beginning of the season. Based on what I've read, we can consider him week to week, and hopefully he can be back by November-ish, but there's really no guarantee. I still don't hate him if you draft him super late and you've got the IR spots for him. I think he could have some significant value later in the season because he should be playing top line and top power play still with Kaprizov. Then Kirby Dach of the Montreal Canadiens. He did miss a very large chunk of the season last year, as he always happens to do, due to the knee injury. The Habs are being extra cautious with him this preseason, as they should be, and they are targeting a Game 1 return, so he should be good to go Game 1 of the season, and he's projected to play alongside Laine and Demidov, which is a great deployment for him. Then we have Stefan Noesen of the New Jersey Devils, and he aggravated a groin injury during the offseason. It seems like he'll miss at least the first few weeks of the season, but the exact timeline has not been revealed yet, so I wouldn't expect him back until November at the very earliest. Then I didn't put Varlamov on this list, but he's someone I'm going to talk about, and he should be the backup in New York if he gets healthy. He did miss most of the season last year after getting knee surgery in December. He is skating by himself, which is a good sign, but the signing of David Rittich makes me believe that they don't expect him back right away. And Patrick Roy, their coach, just confirmed this by saying that they don't expect him back anytime soon. Either way, Varlamov is not really someone you need in fantasy. He's someone that you could stream as a backup goalie if the Islanders have a back-to-back set or something like that. So obviously, don't be owning Varlamov, but it's just something to be aware of. Rittich may only be someone you can stream for the first couple of months. And then a big name in Artemi Panarin suffered a lower body injury at practice on Friday, September 19th. The good news is that he is skating, and it seems like he's skating every single day. He's not skating with his teammates. He's not like fully practicing or anything like that, but it does bode well for his status opening night, October 7th. If he doesn't happen to play October 7th, I don't think it'll last too much longer, just based on the fact that he is, making decent progress. Then we have Drake Batherson of the Ottawa Senators, and he did pull an upper body muscle in the practice. and he's expected out 2 weeks, which puts his timetable just around the start of the season. So it's possible that he heals in time, but it's also possible that he misses a game or two. Either way, I wouldn't fade him in drafts or anything like that just for missing a game or two at most. So Batherson should still be an absolute stud in fantasy this year. Then we have Rutger McGroarty of the Pittsburgh Penguins, and he is out indefinitely with an upper body injury. The fact that they use the term indefinitely doesn't bode that well for his game one availability. He's someone that could have some value depending where he plays in the lineup this year. It really does depend on his deployment, and it's not a great sign that he's not starting the year in all likelihood. But again, it's possible we get another update and he does end up starting the year. So we really have not that much information right now. Then Jared McCann has a lower body injury. It's considered day-to-day. The team's not going to rush him back for the preseason. They know he's a great player, and I think he's going to be just fine for the beginning of the year. Brandon Montour had a minor ankle procedure this offseason. He's going to be missing most of training camp, but he's almost certainly returning for the end of the preseason and definitely in time for the season. Then we have Nick Paul of the Tampa Bay Lightning, and he had surgery for an upper body injury and is going to be out until November. Nick Paul isn't the most valuable player on Tampa. He's probably going to be a third liner, but is definitely someone that can be streamed on weeks that Tampa Bay has a favorable schedule. So it's good to know that he'll be back around November. Joseph Woll is a big name here, and he's actually taking a leave of absence due to a personal family matter. Since we don't know what's going on in his life, it's hard to gauge how long he's going to be out for. Judging by Brad Treliving's comments, it sounds like he could miss some time to start the year, but that's just a guess at this point. Obviously, my thoughts go out to him. I hope everything ends up being okay for him, but obviously it's not going to be an easy situation for him, and I wish him all the best. Next is Logan Cooley, and he was boarded in a preseason game against Colorado. It seems like he should be fine though, since he's only being labeled as day-to-day, and Utah seems like they're pretty confident that he's going to start the season. Jack McBain was also injured during that Colorado match. It's an undisclosed injury, also being labeled as day-to-day, so it seems like he will also be good to go for the regular season. Then Pietrangelo is dealing with a very, very serious hip injury. That's the reason he missed the Four Nations tournament last year. He is hoping to avoid surgery and play with Vegas at some point this year. He's being positive, which is great, but there is a very, very good chance that he doesn't play at all this year. So just be aware of that, and he's probably not someone you need to be owning in fantasy this year. I didn't write him here since this is a super fresh injury, but Pavel Dorofeyev is dealing with a muscle strain, and he's taking it day to day. I think he'll be just fine for the start of the regular season. The only thing that really concerns me with Dorofeyev isn't that he's injured, it's his deployment. If he doesn't get that top power play time, he's going to be significantly less valuable than last year, so we're going to have to monitor Vegas' lines and hope that he gets onto that top unit. And finally, it's Alexander Ovechkin. He sustained a lower body injury in practice. He's 40 years old this year. They're going to be extra cautious with him. For the time being, there's no reason to believe that he's going to miss game one, and their coach really doesn't think that it's anything serious, so I think he's going to be good to go for the regular season. And that's it for this video, guys. If there's anybody that I missed or anybody gets injured, I'm going to continue to update you guys in the comments below. I'll put a pinned comment so you guys can read that. And I'll catch you all in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.